like a boy. Like I don't feel that young, but I guess like looking from the outside in, I must look like this kind of young up and coming contributor to the art form.
At 27, Justin Peck is both a soloist dancer for the New York City Ballet and the company's resident choreographer, the second person in history to hold the position. As a member of one of the most renowned creative engines in the world, Peck has made a name for himself as the ballet world's next big thing.
I'm just trying to make classical ballet, and then other people come to me and they tell me that it looks like this whole new, fresh thing to them, and for me it's about respecting the traditional form and also pushing the envelope, pushing the art form forward.
Peck has choreographed 8 ballets for the company. He's also the subject of a new documentary, Ballet 422, which follows him from the conception to the premiere of what was his 3rd piece of choreography for the New York City Ballet.
How would an audience who might not be that familiar with ballet know that this is your choreography versus another's?
My work is really musically driven and collaborative and athletic. You know, I'm really interested in finding that fine line between athleticism and artistry. I'm always more inspired by working with larger groups. You can't really tell what it's going to be like until you're in the room with like 15 dancers, let's say. It can turn into something completely different than what I imagined initially.
Peck enrolled at the School of American Ballet at 15. The school was started by George Balanchine, one of the giants in the history of the art form. Balanchine later worked to establish the New York City Ballet.
He's a choreographer who's really musically driven. My process has been kind of similar in a way. I always start with the music itself and create the structure and the movement based on that music. Then I'll get into the studio, listen to the music a little bit and see how my body responds to it, and start to record short video clips of movement themes. So the next step would be to get into the studio with the dancers, and that's always sort of like a moment of anxiety for me, because you can prepare as much as you want, but there has to be like a jumping off point where you get into the studio and work with them, and it's like you don't really know how they're going to respond.
Do you sometimes develop your choreography with a particular dancer in mind?
A lot of times I'll start to see a certain dancer, like a specific dancer. I've gotten to know most of them as human beings, as people, and gotten to know their personalities a bit, and that really plays into my casting decisions.
Two of those dancers are New York City Ballet's Tyler Peck and Amar Ramasar. Both have danced leading roles in a number of Peck's ballets.
I remember the first time going into the studio with him, and he has this sort of way, I feel like, of being very fun.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
He laughs when things are fun, or, you know, because we're all his friends too. But still, he gets what he wants.
My first experience with him, I felt like he was an experienced choreographer. It's like you want to be in the room for this person. He has a vision, and you want to work for him.
I've always thought of the process of creating ballets as being this kind of team effort. I'm working with these living, breathing, functioning human beings, and they have their own thoughts and ideas. A lot of times they'll take an idea of mine and they'll extend it further, and the hope is to just create this cohesive vision for what the ballet is going to be.
His collaborations with musicians and artists from outside the company have brought new fans and a new energy to the art form, something that has not gone unnoticed. This month, his work Heatscape will be performed by the Miami City Ballet against the backdrop of brightly colored murals. This time, Peck worked with Shepard Fairey, the street artist best known for his iconic Hope poster commissioned for President Barack Obama's 2008 campaign.
I think he's really excited about dance being this symbiotic meeting point between different artistic mediums, and I think he's just really excited to have his work presented in the theater context.
Next year, he'll head abroad to work with the Paris Opera Ballet, the oldest ballet company in the world. But what's ahead for Peck remains equally as exciting and unpredictable.
I am at a slight advantage. I'm a young person contributing to this art form, and I have an understanding of this generation. So I'm able to incorporate all that into the work itself. Hopefully other people who are in my same generation can connect to that, and we can spark more interest in the next audience of ballet lovers.